Thank you so much for joining us here this morning. My name's Dennis Smeltzer. I'm the president of TSANet. With me on the phone here is also Paul Esch, who is our director of strategy and business development. Also, Stephanie Benson is with us, and they're here to make sure I don't mess this thing up too much. What I'm going to do is walk through the whole objective of this is to talk about the next release of the Member Web, which is coming out here next week. And I think what you're going to find is there's some things in here you're really going to like. We've made a few enhancements. The big deal about this one is going to be something called Case Exchange, which I'll talk about a little bit, but it deserves a separate call. So where I'm going to show you some things with it, I'm not going to dive into to too much about Case Exchange. I think you just need to contact us and let us know that you'd like a separate demo, and we'll walk through all of the options and that kind of stuff. But just to give you sort of some scope here, right, we've got 3 releases that we had planned for 2015. Our winter release actually came out on the 30th, and then this one is coming out next week, and we're going to talk about that. And then we've got one scheduled for October 9th, which will come out. That'll be our fall release. Each one enhancing this. The slide that I didn't put up here, and I think it should be obvious to everybody, is we've got a committee of people that are focused on this. I'd like to see this enhancement. They've also been part of our strategy days, and we want your member input. I mean, this is a member-driven organization. Let's not forget that. What you're going to see here is due to all of you giving input to us. So we certainly want to continue that trend, and it's easy for you to get involved. Just get a hold of us, and we'll make sure that you get all the information. So what I'm going to do, let me show you this just a little bit. I've just got this one slide here. This kind of gives you an idea of what we focused in on for this particular release. And one of the things I'll show you is this internal notes. And the whole concept behind that is that we had some members come up and go, well, you know, for this particular company, or even for this particular big relationship, I need to be able to tell my folks internally something special, right? Or I need to give them some guidance on what to do. So we've added this internal notes section that we're going to show you, where it gives the business and program managers the ability to go in and add notes within the member web, guiding the engineers through the process. I think this will especially be useful for custom groups where you may have a special relationship with a company, and you want to guide that engineer on, hey, use this under these circumstances, or don't use this under these circumstances, and you'll be able to see how that works. So we'll talk about that. We wanted to do some things with custom groups, speaking about that. And for most of you that are part of custom groups, whether you're a participant or whether you're hosting the group yourself, the whole concept here, right, is that you've got a smaller group of companies, or even in a partner program, maybe a large group of companies that are within your little ecosystem. And some of the things that we had set up when you went into the microsite for that custom group was we had a knowledge exchange and a training exchange and a collaborate tab. And we've made some improvements there because not everybody was using all of those features. And then to get to the collaboration piece, which was the big piece, we've made some improvements there. So I'll show you that as well. And then there was a lot of things that we did with the help, and I won't get into a whole much of this in the demo, but we've done some things within member help with videos and some things like that to help you out. We also did some admin features for the contact documents, and we improved the wizard a little bit. So we'll talk about that as well. And so why don't let's just go ahead and get into it here. Let me pull out and see if we can't get our beta site up. And what I've done here, this is on our beta site. You can see the URL is up there. If you want to go into it, your main user ID and password should work as well. What I've done here is I pulled up EMC, and one of the first things you're going to notice is our navigation bar up here has changed just a little bit. We've got this Cases tab, which I'll talk about that a little bit, and this is all due back to the case exchange thing. But notice over here now what we've done is we've gone to a little bit different profile picture. And the reason we added in here not only the user ID, but also the level of membership that you have. And the reason that we did that is because we were finding that a lot of our limited members that typically just have a one-to-one relationship with a host company were thinking that they were a part of the bigger TSANet and could engage and work with all the different companies. And obviously, if you're a limited member, you don't have that capability. So we wanted to make sure that we put the level of membership in here so you will see not only the regions that you participate in, but also the level that you participate in now in this profile section over here. Not a lot changed here in the main page. The navigation pretty much stays the same. We did add some things here to give the members a little bit more indication. Okay, well, if it's a premium member, you know, what does that really mean, right? So we've added things in the custom group, limited member, basic member sections to kind of guide engineers if they want to know more about, well, what is really was that premium member mean? And then, of course, they can click on learn more, and it'll take them into more detail about that. One area, and this right here really has not changed very much as far as the directory is concerned, but what we did do, this is part of the internal notes section. So down at the bottom here, what I would recommend for a lot of companies, if you've got engineers that maybe are using a group ID to get into TSANet and not an individual login, they're not really familiar with it, and as we all know, this is a low volume thing to begin with, that you can add some notes in here. So if you've got people, oh, wait a minute, I was told to use TSANet to go contact this company, but I don't really know what I'm doing here, then you could actually put some information in here. You can add files. If I just click on my little tool indication, I can do all sorts of stuff in this area, but it's really meant to be an internal notes section just for your company. So as I'm logged in here as EMC, then what's going to happen here is only EMC is going to see these notes. And as I move into this a little bit further, you'll see how this internal notes works. And I've used Red Hat as an example here. So what I'm going to do is come over here in my directory and click on Red Hat. And now I've gone down another level to where I've gone to this company. And I could put in notes here. Again, if I'm EMC, this is only EMC seeing this, right? Some information about, hey, if you're contacting this company, be aware of this or do this. Or maybe you've got a special custom group, use this in these circumstances. And I've also got it all the way down to the level of the contact document itself. So you could come in here and again put notes in all the way down to that decision tree level of the document itself to be able to tell people. Now, what will happen as a business manager, and I'll go back here and go ahead and click on a company that I don't have any internal notes on. In that case, this is Amazon. And you're going to see that there's this nothing here will pop up. And if you click on learn more, then it will take you to a video about that. Now, I'm logged in as a business manager. If I'm a caller and there's nothing here, I'm never going to see that. So just be aware of that we don't try to be annoying about it. At the same time, if you're in an administration capacity, we want to let you know that you can come in and put anything in here that you want to. And again, it's really easy to do that. Just go ahead and add text or add the file on how you want to do that. Okay, so that pretty much covers the internal notes section. Before we move on into the microsite a little bit, I thought I would go ahead and show you from an administration perspective one of the things that we did with our contact document editor. So I'm going to go admin here, and you notice one of the big changes is instead of going to company and then seeing all these different things, what we've done is we've actually enhanced the submenu to include contact documents as well as this new feature over here called custom groups. And I'll go ahead and click on custom groups first to show you, and then we'll show you the contact document area. What this is designed to do for those companies that use TSANet in a lot of different capacities is designed to give you a snapshot of all the different relationships that you got, all the documents that might be associated with that relationship. So if I've got a custom group, for example, I can go in here and I can look at the microsite without having to go in and and try to act like I was another member looking at myself. Same thing for the contact documents. For a lot of these companies have got this set up for a landing page for joining, and again, you've got that, and then it can also show you all the different companies, and it's going to do it for all the different custom groups that you have, not the open groups, but all the different custom groups that you've got. So this is a pretty neat little enhancement, and I think you find this will be really useful, especially if you're a user that is using TSANet in a lot of different capacities. Over here in the contact document section, I think you're going to like this too. I'm going to go ahead and use the basic TSANet in this case. And what we've done is we've always had a wizard as part of this, and being able to see the entire document down here below. But what we did, instead of you having to go through the entire wizard, is if you just want to change a particular area or something like that, say hours of support, if you wanted to go GMT instead of 24/7, what you can do is go to that particular area and just click on Save and Approve. Most of the information that you're going to probably edit is going to be down here in the contact information, where I might change a phone number or a process or a procedure or something like that. Well, you don't have to go through the entire wizard in order to save that now. You can just go to that particular area. You'll be able to see what you've edited down here, and then save and approve that document, and it's automatically going to be published. So we thought that was a pretty neat little feature that we've done for the contact documents. The other area here that I'm going to show you has to do with microsites. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you two different examples. And again, if you're not familiar with this capacity, this is for a custom group that you might set up as either a participant or a host that is set up for a special set of customers, a special set of products, outside of the scope of the big open groups of basic and premium TSANet. And what most companies will do is they will set up a microsite that'll give the engineer or the person wanting to engage and collaborate a little bit more information about what this relationship is and what it's supposed to be used for. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one right here. This is a closed many-to-many group, and again, I've also used the notes section of this to kind of enhance even what I would use on the microsite. But the thing to note about the microsite here is that used to have knowledge and training exchange would come up here, and regardless of whether you were using it or not. And so what we've done is we've actually taken the ability or given the ability from the TSANet admin side to be able to take that training and case exchange tabs away. So it doesn't confuse, the engineers aren't clicking around wherever they need to go. The other thing that you'll notice here is, gee, how to engage and collaborate now with this company is actually right on the main screen. And it used to be that you had to click on this collaborate tab to take you back to that. So if you've got a small group where you can get everybody on here in one page and be simple to navigate, I would suggest you go ahead and contact us. We can make sure that the companies that you can collaborate with are going to pop up here on the main page. Other than that, they can go ahead and click on collaborate, and for those that might have hundreds of companies behind there, you might want to keep it on a separate tab. But that's the other thing that we did there. And to give you a little bit of contrast, I'm going to show you what another group looks like here. And we'll go over here to this particular microsite. And you notice now my knowledge and training exchange tabs are up here. So again, one of the enhancements we made was just to hide those things. If you're using it, certainly you've got the ability to add knowledge and training into the microsite itself. Okay, so that really covers, I think, probably the biggest bulk of what we're doing in the member web. There were some other administration things that we did. I'm going to dive a little bit into case exchange here, and a big piece of this is an enhancement that's coming out that is called the member web. And I'll show you exactly kind of how that works and what this cases tab up here is all about. A big piece of this case exchange, understand, is actually using the connectors that we've got set up that would allow you to stay within your CRM system and use TSANet to engage another company without ever going out to the TSANet member web, if for those other companies that are also using case exchange. What we've done is we found that internally, even though it's really a very simple thing to get set up in these connectors and get it up and going, that the IT companies, especially IT divisions, in some of the larger companies, wasn't a priority. It's hard to get on the list to get them to install this connector. So what we've done is we've taken a step to add a member web piece of that in there. And what it allows you to do is to invoke case exchange, meaning that you have the ability to engage and work with other companies electronically. Now, if you don't have the connector installed, you still have to go out to the TSANet site in order to do that, but it allows you to automatically send that case via email. And I'll give you an idea of how that works. First, I'm going to actually go through the main decision tree. And again, I'm logged in here as EMC, and I'm going to go ahead and go to Cloudera. And this will give you an idea how it integrates into the member web. So in this case, I've got a special one-to-one relationship set up, and I'm going to go ahead and use that relationship. And I've got some internal notes set up here talking about case exchange. So the other point to bring out in this is that you can use this for parts, right? If you want to use it for a custom group, you don't have to turn it on for the entire open group, right? You've got the ability to isolate how you're going to do this. In this case, what I've done is I've actually got a little button down here, and I've got Cloudera, and in this case, EMC set up with case exchange. And what it's going to do here is it's going to pop up the form. And this is a customizable form. What will happen here is I will input this information in here and go ahead and submit this ticket. And what will happen is that an alias email will be set up. Typically, I mean, you can have it go to an individual, but I would assume you'd want it to go to an alias email. And then that will notify everybody that a ticket has been submitted, and all the information in this ticket will show up. Now, the other thing is that it will also show up here in the Cases tab. So what I can do here is, if I don't want to go through the member web, I can go ahead and come in here and either start a new escalation, look at my active escalations, and I could run a case here. Again, I'm not going to get into too much detail here, but here's all the information on a test case that we had set up. So this is a really neat little feature. This is something that we've been working on with members for quite some time. And again, I would go back and emphasize that considering the low volume of TSANet to begin with, I think this is a really easy way for you to submit a ticket, receive a ticket, and then track those tickets. And you've got the ability to go in through the case exchange tool here and open cases, close cases, and everybody is notified. The way that you want to set it up, you can set up custom groups, etc., all that kind of stuff. So a really neat little feature, and we'd more than happy, Paul and I'd be more than happy to give you some demos through the beta site if you want to set this up. Again, we're going live next week. The other thing I'd go ahead and mention here is very similar to that internal notes, right? If I have not invoked case exchange as a business or a program manager, I'm still going to see this cases tab up here. But when I click on it, it's going to say, I have not configured case exchange. Click here to learn more. If I'm a caller and you've not got case exchange activated, you're never going to see that cases tab. So it should be pretty easy. Again, I think this is a really neat feature, whether you implement it overall into all your groups, or whether you want to isolate it down to just this group to get started with it. It's a very customizable thing, and I think a really, really neat way for you to be able to work with your partners and through these escalations. Okay, so that's all that I've got for this demo. Paul, let me bring you in here. Is there anything that I missed, that especially on the case exchange tool, that you wanted to bring up?
No, I think the other thing is we do have, if you go to the member help, you'll see a case exchange section there, and there's a lot of good information, including a recording of the webinar that we had last week on that. So under that case exchange, you'll find, presentations, recorded webinars, a whole bunch of other docs, even install guides for the CRM connector. So if you're interested, follow through into the case exchange, take a look at that, and then, as Dennis indicated, certainly contact us for a separate call or to activate you on the demo site.
Okay, and so we've got just a few minutes for questions. If you all have any questions, please go ahead and submit those, and I will do my best to get to them.
And then maybe the other thing while we're waiting on questions is as soon as we release this, which is Dennis indicated, we're planning for next week, but it's possible that we could go earlier. But then, of course, as soon as this one's live, as you saw, we're starting work on the fall release, and we had a meeting to define the scope for that. So we'll start to message what that is. But certainly, if you have any other comments or features or things that you're interested in, then please contact myself or Dennis, and we'll start to get that scheduled into the release process.
And that, as well as participating in the committees, also obviously on the case exchange thing. Again, I think we can set up these demos really easily to help you with that. Yes, the webinar, I do have a question here. Yeah, Alon, the webinar is being recorded, and we will get it out to everybody that was on this call, whether they made it or not, and we'll also put it up on the member web as well. Okay, I think that's it. So we were going to let you have a few minutes left, and I want to thank you all for joining. Again, emphasize, get a hold of us for participation on any of this stuff, and if you want a demo on case exchange. Okay, everybody have a good day. Thanks so much for joining us.